what I'd like to start out showing you here is what's called a compound path. A compound path essentially is when you have a shape and you want a hole in it, similar to having a picture frame and or having a window frame, and you want to see through the object to something that's behind it. And let's say that here, this yellow area is what we would like to have as a hole so that we could see these objects behind it. And you can't really create that without a special command. If we were to take the fill out of the yellow, then we'll just simply see the solid blue. So that's certainly not going to give us this hole or window frame look. So what you do, it's pretty simple. You create two shapes. It can be any two shapes. This inner shape could have been a circle or an oval. But the point is we have we have these two shapes, and we select both of them. So this one is selected. I'll shift click the second, the blue rectangle, and then you simply, with both of them selected, go up under Object, Object in the main menu, slide down to Compound Path, and make the compound path. And there you see the hole that's now been created inside this object. And what's funny about it is it's not really a hole, it's defined electronically. And I'm going to go and get this white arrow with the plus sign that we really haven't talked much about, and I'm going to select it and then deselect and go back and select just the inner square, and watch what happens. When I move this around, in fact, the hole moves with it. So it creates kind of a funny thing that doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but it nonetheless works. And that is a compound path. Select the two objects, Object, make a compound path. And we could also undo it or release it if need be. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the many borders and styles of shapes that we can create and modify. Here I have just a simple shape, and we can go up under Window, and drop down to Brush Libraries. And the brush libraries have a great many different kinds of borders and decorative elements that can be used around the edge of our images. For instance, we have the border frames, the geometric frames, and here they are, and there's a bunch of them, and you can pick these and put these on as strokes, and you can change how they're going to look by making the stroke thicker, as you can see here. And there are a great many of these, as you can see. And one of the newer features that is pretty cool, even I'm impressed by it, is that we can take these borders and we can customize them. What I mean by that is we can select them. Of course, we'll select them, and then we're able to go up under Object and Expand Appearance. Object, Expand Appearance. When we do that, it breaks this shape now, or this border, into all of its original vector elements. And it's just amazing, because now I can go in and selectively activate these different pieces and simply change them it's really quite amazing to me. And it's all now completely customizable, and can be changed and eliminated, or whatever it is that you want to do. So there's some pretty neat things that are available with these different kinds of borders. And there are also some artistic ones, and like the paintbrush and the calligraphy brush that we can apply to these shapes, like this. Now that this has become, let me just create a new shape here. I think making those borders had, and again, look at this. And we can color them differently, but you've got all of these different creative borders, and you can do whatever your heart's content is with these. And by changing the size and the thickness of the stroke, we can of course change the overall appearance of these things. Okay? And as well, and I may have already mentioned it, the very many different kinds of gradients that are available. We can go window, drop down to our swatch libraries, and there are all of these different groups of colors that they have set out and put together for us. Here's nature with beach and flowers and landscape, and a whole host of related colors that already are complementary and go together. And so this can be great with the gradient mesh, or for doing really anything that we're working on. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, more or less, because they've more or less done a great deal of that for us. And so we have a lot of different colors, and in the way of gradients, we have, look at all these different groups of gradients, just gradients. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can of course alter them and edit them, but they've done a good bit of the work for us, and here they are. And look at how beautiful some of these are. And they're just ready to go. So you can save yourself a lot of time and effort, and have some beautiful things at your disposal that you don't have to create from scratch. And that's really the point of all of this, is to give you more tools to work much more quickly and efficiently, and make it easier all the way around.